Good Saturday, YouTube. This is Tyler, Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are doing all right. Well, yeah, about last night's video. Before I get into today's video, meant to have posted it sooner than this morning, obviously. But a lot was going on. Nothing bad, but just a lot was going on, and I honestly just kind of fell asleep. I was drained from yesterday. Well, yesterday afternoon, and then stuff carried on in the overnight. Wasn't expecting it, but it was a nice surprise nonetheless. So, yeah, that's why that's happening there. In case anyone was wondering, but we're back on track now, and we have a long range forecast. It's going to be covering this next week, including the severe weather events that we have been talking about that could be in line for Monday and Tuesday. We also have a slight risk going on today, so we're going to cover all of that here in this video. So buckle your seatbelts because this could be a little bit more of a lengthy video. Start with today's severe threat. We even have a tornado report as well. We already have 35 wind reports and 6 hail reports. And there still hasn't been too much activity around that slight risk area as of yet. So we're going to highlight that, and of course the 4 marginal risk areas. We talked about the monsoonal flow around the Four Corners region, so the chance of there being a severe storm is relatively minimal, but the heavy rain threat is going to be the biggest topic around here, especially in Arizona. And then there is a marginal risk around just to the west of the Ohio Valley region. And then towards the mid-Atlantic, we have one more area that is a marginal risk. Storms going through there right now. Take a look at the tornado reports, and it's actually in Minnesota today, which is interesting. But this line of storms seems to be the biggest troublemaker so far. We'll have to see if that holds up throughout the rest of the night. Most likely it will, but don't rule out this little slight risk region here and marginal risk around the Central Plains. Let's go ahead and get more close and personal with these regions here. Main areas that we will be looking at tonight will be around Lincoln, Nebraska, and Norfolk. It's a relatively small area, although in the Central Plains we still can't rule out areas like McCook and Colby and Garden City and Pueblo, Colorado. We can't. You guys tend to be the usual suspects, but today might be. It's hard to say honestly right now. Tornado threat's minimal, but as we've said before, and in an area that was unexpected. I think this honestly could have been last night's report. That's why we got what we got in Minnesota. Wind threat and the hail threat are the big topics here. So we'll move on to day 2. It's a marginal risk, so we're not going to blow that off because we thought today was going to be a marginal risk and it got upgraded. First marginal risk. Well, look what we have here. Same area I keep on talking about all summer, Montana. All of central Montana, you need to be on the lookout here for some potential isolated severe weather. Main threat's going to be the wind. The hail threat's minimal as well as the tornado threat. So that's what we're dealing with there. Just to the east of Boot, just to the south of Glasgow, Billings. You guys are in play for that. Then we have a marginal risk around the Ozarks here. Western Tennessee, you guys are involved, and then we also have Little Rock's right on the fringe of this, but I think you're not in it at the moment. We'll have to see if that changes, and then of course we have Springfield, Missouri involved. So anyone around the Ozarks region, keep an eye out. Then we have the sneaky little marginal risk here that goes through eastern Kentucky, goes through most of West Virginia and into Pennsylvania and Ohio. Columbus, you're included in this, as well as Pittsburgh, Charleston, West Virginia. Again, the threat for everybody on this one looks to be wind, and almost wind exclusively. Still can't rule out hail, still can't rule out a tornado, but we're mainly going to be looking for windbacks here. Then we go to day 3, and we're getting to Monday. This is our this was that slight risk that we were looking at on days 4 and 5 yesterday when I originally shot the video that got uploaded this morning, so I apologize again. But of course, Northern Plains are the main target area. I'm thinking this kind of lends itself towards more of a wind threat. Maybe a tornado threat in Canada, but I don't have anything that'll look into that area as of right now. But we have Glasgow, Minot, Bismarck, Fargo, and Grand Forks in play for some severe weather. And that's for the greatest threat of severe weather, I should say. And then our marginal risk here, we have Great Falls, Billings, right off to the east of Boot yet again. And then we have just to the north of Aberdeen in play as well, and a cheeky little marginal risk here that could easily be overlooked, including the Long Island area. Just to the north of the Long Island area, we have Boston, we have Springfield and Albany in play. Well, not Albany, we have Boston and Springfield in play towards the UMass and so on and so forth. Most likely in both cases, the main threat will be wind. Well, we'll get a little bit more in depth with that in a moment. Day 4 is what I'm really interested in because this is a pretty big slight risk outlook. So I think there is potential for this to be upgraded. We're going to take a look at the actual storm system in a moment here. But look how many areas we have in play. We have Marquette, we have Duluth, we have Minneapolis, we have Green Bay, we have La Crosse, we have Chicago, Peoria. All of you guys are already at risk for potential severe weather. Well, a slight risk for severe weather on day 4. So this definitely warrants something that could be watched. This definitely warrants something to be watched here. And this will be interesting to see how this unfolds because this kind of has a look like there could be either a widespread derecho or bow echo, but I'm not so sure if I'm ruling out the tornado threat either. So actually, since this is a very small synopsis, I might actually take a quick look at that to see if there's any sort of greater detail that I can find on here. It's just showing a shortwave trough going through there. I'm definitely so that kind of tells me this is leaning towards more of a damaging wind threat with it being a shortwave. There's no deepening trough here that kind of lends itself towards a tornado threat. Lo and behold, though, we're going to actually go ahead and take a look at the vorticity here, and that might give us a better idea on what the tornado threat may or may not be. So we're going to about, I would say, the 19th. Incorrect. All right, so we're looking at the 19th here, and here's our storm system. It's pretty robust looking. Positive tilt, though, so that's one way we know for a fact that it's a damaging wind type event. It kind of looks like it wants to go neutral, but I just don't think it's going to quite do much of anything. Maybe if it goes towards Michigan, I just don't see it really. It kind of looks like it tries to go negative on the 20th. It's hard to say what it's going to do from there, but I think it's going to lose a lot of steam at that point. Because, you can see it's definitely not looking as intense as it was here. That's also why I'm thinking that the tornado threat might be greater around Canada more so than it is in the northern plains. I have to see how this all unfolds here. I do think this model is a little bit off because it keeps showing it as Tuesday when it's actually Monday, and we don't have a day 5 or day 6. This could change though. So there's a lot of things that I'm not so certain about with this run at the moment. But this is also a fresh run. And of course, there will be changes. So we get to about 132 hours out. We're looking at Friday, the 22nd. This thing's about out of here at this point. And when we look towards next weekend, as of right now, there isn't really much to talk about here. This is going to be the same old thing. You have that monsoonal flow, which could be resulting in more thunderstorms around the Four Corners region. We have the summertime set up in the southeast. May have a little bit of scattered storms around Michigan and maybe the Ohio Valley. But as far as any large-scale severe weather, it's looking relatively minimal. All right, so Now that we've looked at that, let's go ahead and take a look at the low level jet, and we'll also take a look at the mid levels. Let's try to get an idea of any sort of tornadic activity. And I'm not really expecting a whole lot out of this, of course. I'm just trying to hammer down on any opportunity that I can for, oh, hang on a minute. Looks like we do have a decent low level jet around North and South Dakota, especially around South Dakota. So there is potential for something to pop off here towards Monday morning, and then towards Tuesday. Okay, never mind. Tuesday, the tornado threat's looking relatively minimal. Wait, hang on a minute. I have to backtrack again because maybe on the far western side here there might be something. It's hard to say. I don't really think it's going to amount to much. I don't think this piece of energy here in the low level jet is not going to match up with these storms. I think these storms will be long gone by the time it gets here. But I am interested in late Tuesday night because this is a pretty big area here. I think a few tornadoes wouldn't be ruled out. And then Wednesday, it's not really much anything to talk about at the moment. I do think Wednesday night into Thursday we might have an increased damaging wind threat for the Northeast. And then like I said, by Friday, this thing will work its way offshore. And that'll be that for this storm system. And then as we look towards this next weekend, it's not really much anything going on here. It's good news for a lot of people. Okay. Oops. Let me go to the mid-level jet real quick. All right. Try to take a look at our video here. Sitting at 11 minutes. We're not doing too bad. Okay. So this is our mid-level jet here. And mid-level jet so far isn't looking super impressive on Monday, but it does pick up on Tuesday from the looks of it. I'm definitely leaning towards there being a big bow echo more so than tornado threat, especially when you look at and you see this little yellow mark here where we're sitting at over 60 knots from the looks of things, actually more towards 70 knots. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking that there will be a bow echo on Tuesday. We'll have to watch this real close. Again, mainly the areas around Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota. You guys would be at the greatest risk. I do think this threat carries on through parts of the Ohio Valley and works its way into the Northeast by Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. So I do think that there will be some upgrades coming and some more slight risk in the days ahead. Also see this little tropical feature that's off the west coast here. It's going to be moving out to sea. So there's going to be that. Let me know in the comments. If you're brave, let me know in the comments if you want me to cover that in the tropics. I'll make more videos just for that then. It looks like there's a little shortwave system that pops up next Saturday. We'll have to watch that real close. Nothing really impressive with that at the moment, but we'll have to see how this develops further. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the radar could look like over the next 7 days. So as of right now, here's a severe weather threat going on in the Central Plains. Other than that, we have that monsoonal flow around the Gulf, not the Gulf, but the Four Corners, causing some rain and maybe a pulse severe storm. And then when we look towards Sunday night, a lot more activity around the Tennessee valleys, the Missouri Valley, Mississippi River Valley, etc. And we go towards Monday afternoon. Here's our storm system. Like I said, it looks like there could be an increased tornado threat north of the border, but hard to say. On our neck of the woods around the south of the border, that's where things look to be more of a wind threat. And then GFS precip type isn't really picking up on this too well, on this storm system too well right here. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops, but this does still have that look of there being at least a bow echo I don't know if I want to be bold enough yet to call it a derecho, because there still seems like there's a little bit of uncertainty with this. Of course, like I said, Wednesday, Thursday, GFS has this moving as a line of storms through Michigan and into the Northeast by early morning or afternoon, and then there's a big line of storms that pops up on Friday for everybody around the eastern half of the country. There's a tropical system moving off, and then towards the end of the day, storm moves north of the border, and then everybody's clearing out for the most part, with the exception of the Four Corners region with that monsoonal flow. All right, so we've gone a week now. Last thing we're going to look at here is a flash rate, just kind of get an idea of who could be getting a little bit more increased storm activity. I mean, for the most part, the precip type kind of does this, but I just, to be honest, I just kind of like this map. So this is looking into Sunday night, Monday. For the most part, it's relatively quiet. Like I said, Four Corners region, you are the exception right now. There's a lot of attention going towards you guys. Then on Monday morning, we interestingly enough seem to have some storms towards the Ozarks region from the looks of it. Flash rate density is a little bit heavy there. And of course, no surprises here. We have our flash rate highest around Montana on Monday, and we expect this to move further and further off to the east and increase in concentration. There we go right there. This is the Euro model that we're looking at. This is the only one that I have that has the flash density. And we watch this little wave of energy work its way further and further to the east. Meanwhile, while that feature is moving along, I guess it triggers a little bit more it triggers more pop-up thunderstorms to be around the southeast as well. And then on Friday, as this moves off, and here's the storm activity moves further and further to the south and east. And then here's what looks like our next feature might be coming into the northern plains on Saturday. And then we expect this to move off to the east, as we mentioned earlier. And into Sunday, there we go. It's moving around the central, well, not from the central plains. It's moving to the northeast once more. But that's it for this video. We'll see what happens over the next few days. I might increase the activity on the videos. I may not. It just depends on how things go. But until then, this has been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. I will see you guys in the next video. You'll have a good one.